I'm Haley B. Miller, and this is Ohio Politics Explained, a podcast where you give us 15 minutes and we give you all the news you need to sound smart and impress your friends. Welcome back to Ohio Politics Explained. Today, we'll discuss why ICE might be coming back to Ohio and what the state is doing to prepare. We'll also dig into a new trial that started this week and the House Bill 6 scandal and what may happen next. Back in the studio today is Laura Bischoff.
Hey, how are you?
Cold. Let's start with ICE, and I am not talking about the kind that froze Ohio this week. Governor Mike DeWine said state and local officials are preparing for a potential surge in immigration enforcement in Springfield. The city is home to about 15,000 Haitian immigrants, and they're expected to lose their legal status on February 3rd. Before we look ahead, Laura, catch us up on what we know about Springfield's Haitian community.
Well, the 15,000 or so, that's about a quarter of the population in Springfield, which is in Clark County. So it's a pretty big chunk. A lot of folks immigrated from Haiti, which is, a really difficult place. It's controlled by gangs. There's a lot of violence. They immigrated and they started taking a lot of jobs in the Springfield area, and a number of employers found them to be very reliable and hardworking, and were taking jobs that needed to be filled. And so it kind of plugged right into the community there.
And this is not the first time that Springfield has been in the news because of their Haitian community. Back during the 2024 presidential election, false rumors started spreading about Haitians who live in Springfield. President Donald Trump, Vice President J.D. Vance were falsely claiming that Haitians were eating people's pets and things like that. Everything got pretty toxic, honestly, in Springfield over a couple months there. There was a lot of tension and, of course, a lot of fear among the Haitians who lived there.
Right. And this is something that came up during the presidential debate, so it got an enormous amount of airtime. And the state had to surge in the highway patrol to help kind of calm things down. There were a lot of people, people who had employed Haitian immigrants and talked to the media. They ended up getting death threats. There was just incredible blowback, and it really got ugly.
Right. And so looking ahead to next week, a lot of Haitians in Springfield have what is called temporary protected status, which is a designation that immigrants get. They basically can live in the United States temporarily if they come from a country like Haiti that's dangerous, unstable for whatever reason. The Trump administration is allowing TPS for Haitians to expire on February 3rd. So at that point, anyone who is still in Springfield will no longer have legal status in the country. They won't be able to work anymore. And we talked to Governor Mike DeWine earlier this week, and he said it's just leaving a lot of uncertainty for the community, and there's a lot that's going to change essentially overnight for the entire city.
Right, because all of these folks who had taken jobs, they're immediately going to be no longer legally employable in the United States. They have families in Springfield, so their children are in school. If ICE picks people up, picks up adults at workplaces or whatever, what happens to the kids who are left behind? And so this is a lot of logistics and game planning by the DeWine administration of how do we help these folks? And it's not just the DeWine administration that's working on this. I think local officials are kind of eyeballing what might or might not happen, and a lot of local churches are trying to figure out how they can be helpful to the community.
And it's worth noting, DeWine has said he does not know for sure if ICE will come to Springfield. ICE typically does not roll out the red carpet for themselves and announce that they're going to be in a particular city. So it's unknown at this point, but certainly the DeWine administration is preparing for it. School district officials in Springfield have said that they're expecting a 30-day operation, and obviously ICE has been in the news a lot recently. Agents killed 2 people in Minneapolis during their operation there. And so there's just a lot of tension and fear around what ICE being in Springfield, being in Ohio could mean.
The other thing to note here is that, Clark County is practically in Mike DeWine's backyard. He lives over in Greene County adjacent. And also, the DeWine family has a lot of ties to Haiti. They have long sponsored number of schools. One school named after their daughter, Becky DeWine, who passed away in a auto accident. The schools, I know the Becky DeWine School has closed because of the violence and unrest in Haiti. But Mike and Fran DeWine have been to Haiti more than a dozen times.
Yeah, and he's been a really vocal defender of Springfield's Haitian community this entire time. He's been very against allowing their TPS to expire. He thinks it's too dangerous for people to be forced to return to Haiti. So this is definitely an area where he has not really been in lockstep with his fellow Republicans.
Absolutely.
Our next topic is House Bill 6 and First Energy. A trial began this week for Chuck Jones and Mike Dowling, who used to be powerful executives for the Akron-based utility. Jones and Dowling are accused of bribing Sam Randazzo, who led Ohio's Public Utility Commission, to help the company's bottom line. Give us some more detail on where these two fit into the puzzle that is Ohio's biggest corruption scandal, allegedly, at least.
Well, let's start with, House Bill 6 passed in 2019. It was going to provide a bailout for the nuclear energy plants that had been owned by First Energy. And then a year later, the FBI arrested Larry Householder and 4 other people involved in this. They, 2 took a plea deal, 1 died by suicide, and then Larry Householder and Matt Borges, the former chair of the Ohio Republican Party, both went to trial, were convicted, and were sentenced to prison. During that whole saga, First Energy basically signed a deferred prosecution agreement saying, we did these things, and we're going to pay a $230 million fine, and we're going to cooperate with federal authorities. And during the course of that, a lot of text messages and other material that Jones and Dowling had shared with one another or other folks, came out into the public. Jones was the CEO and Mike Dowling was kind of the chief lobbyist. And First Energy says, look, we are a changed company. We cleaned house. Our culture is different now. And really, it's these guys that may or may not have done wrong.
And so this is the first time that the folks from the company, the alleged bribers, are, on the stand or facing trial. Before we were just, we were dealing with the government side of things.
Right. So the recipients of the bribe scheme, that part has been handled, and now this is supposedly the people who orchestrated the bribes.
I know we're early in the trial. There's still a long way to go. I mean, any sense of who might have the strongest case here, if Jones and Dowling have a shot of, getting out of this with, a decent...
I don't know. They're doing jury selection, and you're right. It's very early. We haven't even seen opening arguments yet. I think that Jones and Dowling have a small army of attorneys on their side. I'm told that maybe 40 or so. There was a lot of background discussion about how much space there was going to be in the courtroom for the public and for reporters. So it's going to be really interesting to watch. Our colleagues at the Akron Beacon-Journal are going to be following along closely. And
Householder's not quite done yet. He is still facing state charges for his involvement in this, right?
Right. Also, Jones and Dowling were indicted in federal court as well.
It never ends.
Oh, I hope it does.
And one more thing before you go. The deadline for candidates to file their campaign paperwork is February 4th. We already have an idea of who's running for governor, Senate, a lot of these big races. But once this deadline passes, we'll officially be off to the races for 2026.
Let's go.